became one of the first. Teddy Pendergrass became one of the first artists in history to have 5 consecutive multi-platinum albums.
Jeez.
That means albums that sold 2 million copies each.
For God's sake.
2 million copies. And on top of that, he was the first artist in history to have woman-only concerts.
Okay,
and
I won't say much about that.
Affinity Xtra, be extra.
Hey guys, this is your boy here, Roger Moore here on Affinity Xtra. We're here to celebrate gospel music of black origin, but at the same time, we're here to explore other elements of black music because we're proud of being black and we're proud of what blackness has done in certain many industries. And we're here to, again, go through a certain pathway. I thought I'm going to have these conversations on the phone. Instead of talking about the history, I'm having a conversation across Zoom along with the historian Kevin Tomlin, so you guys can hear a conversation that is not lectorial in its approach, but a conversation which is normal. Yeah, so we can just, when I say normal, just not stats thrown at you. It's a to and fro conversation which you can jump in and thinking, I never knew that. Last one, you didn't know that Tom Bell was Jamaican born, did you? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So end of the day, so yeah, I said to my friend the other day, I said, yo, did Tom Bell? No. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you. You know what I mean? So we there's some big things happening within black music going on, full stop in the history, and still going on to this very day. So we can actually stand up and go, hold on a second, we can do something mighty and special. So today we're going back to Gamble and Huff, yeah, the Philadelphia record company experts, yeah. So we're going back to
Philadelphia International. Philadelphia International.
I knew I got it wrong.
Records.
International Records, yeah? International, trust me, it was international. We're going to go back to them. So, Kevin, why are we going back to Gamble and Huff? We spent an episode talking about Gamble and Huff. Why are we going back and why are we here, bro?
Well, the reason why we're going back is because we just started the hit run with them during the 70s. It's you have to understand their label Phil International Records or the abbreviation is PIR, was the second best-selling record company or second biggest behind Motown. The only difference with them, is that Motown still had more number one albums compared to them, but in terms of gross earning and everything, they were way up there.
Because second behind Motown. Okay.
Yes, second behind Motown. Yeah, in terms of gross earnings, rather, because when Philadelphia was at their peak, Philadelphia International, their gross earning was between $30 to $40 million. You know. Okay. Yeah, it's quite sizable earning. I mean, if you compare it today, it's probably work out to be about 100 million, 100 to 200 million. You know, it comparing to inflation.
Yeah, inflationary. Yeah, correct.
Yes. That's quite sizable income, you know, getting close to about $250 million in earnings, that sort of thing. You're looking at in today's currency inflationary rates.
Yeah, but these guys would seem like they're doing well. So bro, so they're doing their stuff now, yeah. They work to Jacksons. We talked about the work to the OJs, Teddy Pendergrass. You know, we talked about all their influences on here. Now, okay, so where we're going to now? You know what I mean? We're getting to the 80s now, and we're touching about.
We don't want to go into the 80s yet.
Okay,
it's too premature.
Right.
You would realize that it's too premature because where I actually stopped was just the beginning of the hit run.
Okay, go for it.
The first number one album on the R&B charts for them was Billy Paul's 360 Degrees. The 360 Degrees of Billy Paul, which included Me and Mrs. Jones on it. Right.
Yes, I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was the first number one album on the Billboard album charts, which it was there for 2 weeks, starting February the 6th. Well, it was 6th of January, rather, 1973, for the first one for 2 weeks. And when you compare the album and the single, Billy Paul would have generated over about close to 6 million for both of them, the album and the single. Because Me and Mrs. Jones sold over 4 million copies, 4 to 5 million copies. Me and Mrs. Jones, it was a runaway bestseller.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was a monster hit. It was a monster hit. Now, this is right in between all that. The OJs came out again the following year with their number one album. They had Backstabber was a big seller, but it didn't go number one on the R&B charts, Billboard R&B charts. But it was another big selling album, Backstabber, which had Backstabber and Soul Train, Love Train on it. And so they had the OJs had 2 gold singles from one album, 2 million sellers from one album, so Love Train was number 4, number 1 for 4 weeks on the R&B charts in the 10th of February 1974, 4 weeks. That became a million seller as well. And
million after million. Jeez. And this is on vinyl, isn't it? This is on vinyl, yeah?
Yes, it's vinyl. This is vinyl, brother. And also, Love Train was pop number 1, 2 for 1 week. Yeah. So that was PIR, the label's second number 1. Smash. Love Train. Monster smash. It was a monster smash. And then on top of that, during that period, Ship Ahoy, which is a concept album dealing about slavery and so on, Ship Ahoy.
Okay.
With, which features Under Love of Money, which was another monster million seller hit for The Love of Money.
Okay.
Very concept. Concept.
It's very
yes, it's slavery. Ship Ahoy, Ship Ahoy, and all that stuff. Transatlantic experience, which was number 1 for 3 non-consecutive weeks, starting the 16th of February 1974. So that was the second gold album. He was Backstabber first, and then Ship Ahoy next. And there's a lot of things going on in between. Don't forget about Aaron Melvin and the Blue Notes, which they had their gold records going on too. Aaron Melvin and the Blue Notes sold 2.5 million copies in albums alone.
Oh my goodness sake.
And then the OJs did 7 million copies in albums alone. When I'm talking about singles, albums.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. This is different movements. Clocking up, because Philly International is the only label next to Motown that sold very large album cup units.
Okay.
Yes, they sold extremely large. Yeah, the 70s in particular was really the male solo artists and the male solo groups dominance when it comes to the Philly sound. It was you will find that during the 1980s, then the ladies begin to take over with the number ones and big selling Philly soul female albums. But we go during the 80s. Yeah, it's a difference,
Okay. Because the 70s, the man and
because that was when the emergence of Janet Jackson and Whitney Houston, they started to move extremely large, massive units. Anyhow, right. Let's go into the more details. Yes, more details. No, the OJs had about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had about about 10 to 13 number ones. No, I have to check, but I think it was about nearly a dozen number ones on the label.
Okay.
and about 6 to 7 of those number ones were million sellers.
So I heard about the OJs and stuff. Everyone said the OJs is the OJs. So OJs was a serious thing.
Yeah, yes, they were a serious group. They dominated they were selling more singles and albums than the Temptations for a while. Because the Temptations sort of peaked by 74, 75. The OJs were begin to, and another group too. This is another interesting thing I just want to say to you. The week before, Love Train became number 1 on the R&B charts. The week before, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love by the Spinners, produced by Tom Bell, was number 1 the previous week. That is a million seller too, you know. So you have 2 Philly million sellers back to back on the charts. Wow. So at the same time, that's why I had to break it down, because Tom Bell is kicking at the same time, and Gamble and Huff is kicking at the same time. You know, both of them just.
So you got that Philly sound hitting, you know what I mean? Wow. So you just think Motown, and Quincy Jones and all them guys there still, You don't realize that there was other houses going on.
Yes, there were other production houses, you know, because remember, if we really want to say about it, you have another label called All Platinum, which the Moments came out from. Okay. You know, that was in New Inglewood in New Jersey, right? That's another black label there. All these labels were kicking at the same time, and you had Sussex Record by Bill Withers, you know, Ain't No Sunshine When It Rained. All of these hits, all of them were helping. Lean on Me, all of them was happening around the same time. They were smashing. So although Philly was one of the big ones, there were other black-owned labels, yes, that were hitting. Don't forget Rolls Royce with Car Wash.
Oh,
yes,
Car Wash.
That they were on a label called Bill Withers. Withers label. Not Whitfield label. Beg your pardon, Whitfield label. That was another black label as well. That's another. That's West Coast sound. That's another discussion.
Oh my goodness!
There was
West Coast, East Coast. I know about West.
East Coast, West Coast. Yeah, they had the East Coast, which I would put Philly in that equation. Had their particular group of musicians that they work with, you know, between New York and Philly, you know. Yes, you have Anthony Jackson, who did the bass line, and For the Love of Money, you hear that bass, you know. Yeah. So you have all these I call them musician technocrats, you know, that work.
Yeah. Technocrats, I like that.
Yep. Yeah. So let's go back now. And the interesting thing about it is that with all that, the musicians that was behind that sound was a group of musicians, a band called MFSB.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Mother, Father, Sister, Brother.
Yes.
Yeah. And they operate out the Sigma Studio, which was owned by Joe Tarsia, Tarsia, Joe Tarsia, who was the chief engineer and the owner of Sigma Studio, the former owner of Sigma Studio. We had some of the top sound engineers working out there. There's several outstanding sound engineers that actually worked, mainly white guys actually, and his son. But you know, they made a living. This is interesting as well, that during that period, Grace Jones actually recorded some disco albums from in the same studio, with Gamble and Huff was working for, yes. So a lot of things. The studio was a 24 hours operation. There's a lot of. You remember that track, Armed and Extremely Dangerous?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Right. By First Choice. That was actually recorded at that studio, that same studio. So there's a lot of
things that have been produced.
Armed and Extremely Dangerous was actually released on the black label Philly Groove, which Delphonics did. Yeah, Delphonics did Didn't You Blow My Mind This Time on that. They got a Grammy Award. As a matter of fact, the first Philly Grammy Award for Philly International was Me and Mrs. Jones. Me and Mrs. Jones became a Grammy Award. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. See, no,
Yes.
so that's quite amazing because I'm looking at some of the MFSB. Let's look at some of the names that I worked with them. I've got like Harold Melvin. You got the and the Blue Notes. You got the OJs that worked with the Styletics, the Spinners. Wilson Pickett, and obviously Billy Paul.
That's correct.
And also known as basically they did the Sound of Philadelphia, and this is also known as the Soul Train theme.
That's correct. Yes, and it was a million seller too, and it was pop #1 as well. Yes.
No, so
there was a lot of there was a lot of and the gold album is Message in the Music.
So these guys were really deep into the craft and how they really bring across the music and change. And did they rap? I'm looking at the guys.
There were social changes. The concept. Yes, I mean they did a particular album called the Philadelphia All Stars, which talks about let's clean up the ghetto in 1977.
Yeah.
A political and social address. The single was talking about empowerment and cleaning up ghettos, in the inner cities like Los Angeles, Philly, New York, etc. They raised funds. The All Stars raised funds to actually do that. So they didn't talk. These men were social changers. They were interested in empowerment, both economically, socially, and spiritually. Yes.
So what is our music doing now? Jeez. And I think that's powerful for us to realize that as black music, we can actually do more for social change. I don't think we do enough. I really don't. I think that black music needs to have a good check on themselves, because right about now it's very, very anti-social, very, very pro not only crime but pro anti-family. Yeah. Yes. Pro just total misuse, and everyone looks at it in terms of people talking to girls, and it's always promoting promiscuousness. But the reality show is everyone looks at it from how you're treating other people, but how it's treating your body and how you're damaging your body. So it's very disruptive, very hedonistic in its its approach today, and it's a challenge out there and it, again, I'll go back to it. Gospel music should be the lead in this area. It should be like, yo, we're the leaders in this craft. We're here to promote social change. We want you to look after your body and promote that. So let's promote that. But boy, they're just focusing in a different zone. But listen, guys, we got a job to do in what we're writing. Yes, it's great writing and what we're writing and inspirational stuff, but we need to start being a bit more crusty with our approach. Yeah, a bit more straight to the point, a bit more anti-crime, anti-this, anti-that, because the kickback that my friends have got for doing that in the 2000s as rappers, guys are just not even touching it right now.
Yeah, because I think we can talk all we want about people like Dr. Drake, but Dr. Drake they were addressing reality. What was going on in Compton and so forth. Yes, and it's the same thing, Gamble and Huff. Because when you think about it, Gamble and Huff, they by the time 1987 came around, they did 22 #1 singles. They produced 22.
That's fantastic, bro. In a period where, guys, black
it was difficult. Yes, yeah, it was difficult for and not only that, they're one of the few record producers to have #1s in three decades. 3 separate decades.
Okay.
Think about it.
So 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And also, they're the first. Their label is the second label behind Motown to have a number 1 single in 3 separate decades during the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Right. All right then, bro. As you mentioned, the 90s, yeah, and 80s, man. Come on, man. Let's hit me up some of the newer stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, to freshen things up, man. And then because we've been talking Teddy Pendergrass, them guys. Them guys were doing it when I was born. So let's go a bit more to the guys
Okay. Teddy Pendergrass. All right. Teddy Pendergrass' first album, which was self-titled Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
Came out in 77 after he left Aaron Melvin and Blue Notes as the lead vocalist in 76. The album became one of the first. Teddy Pendergrass became one of the first artists in history to have 5 consecutive multi-platinum albums.
Jeez.
That means albums that sold 2 million copies each.
For God's sake.
2 million copies. And on top of that, he was the first artist in history to have woman-only concerts.
Okay, I won't say much about that.
And top of that, brother, he's one of the first black artists, male artists, to have a clothesline called Teddy Jeans and so on.
I remember when I was younger, people used to mention about Teddy Pendergrass. Oh yeah, like Teddy Pendergrass, some great music.
Brother.
And I'm like, what you on about? You know what I'm saying? I was into Mary J. Blige and all them guys, but I was like, what you on about, man? You know what I mean? But I'm looking at the Blue Notes, yeah, and Teddy Pendergrass was in that group, right?
Yeah, he was a feature singer, and he helped the group to sell millions of copies, and they generated between the Aaron Melvin and the Blue Notes, which was the lead vocalist, they did about 2.5 million in albums, not to mention singles. If you put singles in the equation, it runs about 6 million or so, the singles and the albums.
Yeah.
And don't forget Teddy's equation. When we put Teddy into it, you're talking about between what he was the featured solo artist with them and his solo project, lead singer with it and his solo project. You're talking about probably, when we put all the figures together, probably about 15 to 20 million copies in both albums and singles between being his solo artist and feature. Matter of fact, he's the second best-selling recording act behind the OJs.
Jeez.
I mean, those two artists, those two entities were actually ruling Philly. They were the kingpins.
I'm just amazed at what these guys did in that year. I thought like, you know, R&B was just on a come up when I was coming through, and then seeing R&B, I thought, yeah, man, it's finally blowing up. It blowing up in the 2000s. Listen, man, it blowing up like 20, 30 years before that. You know what I mean?
Well,
in a
long before. You know
what I'm saying? And these guys have done really well for me too.
You got to think about it. By the time Gamble and Huff peak in terms of record producers and songwriters, you had Babyface, which did 26. Babyface had 26 number ones, you know. Babyface produced. So Babyface is a separate entity. Him and L.A. Reid, you know. I mean, you talk about when you actually compare what these guys did. By the time the end of the 70s came around, music of Black origin did over $600 million in business.
Jeez.
That was 70s money. So wonder how much is that if you can put it into today's money. We're talking about maybe 7 billion.
And the thing is, the next generation, the scary thing is, these guys were doing amazing now, bro. But the likes of L.A. Reid, these are Harvard Business School graduates. Yeah? So they're coming out even harder. You know what I'm saying? They're coming in like Yo, okay, thanks, Dad. I'm gonna take over the family business now, and they took it to another level. But we have to realize that we're doing this so we can recognize what it's all about, and this whole thing. You know, why what these guys are standing on absolute giants. And this is why it's important for us to realize, not about reinventing the wheel, it's about putting a fresh and new tire, changing the tire slightly. The shape is there. The shape is there for black people in music, and the success is there in the UK for black music. You know, we talk about, let's flip it. You know, we're not discussing this today, but ultimately you got people like Soul. You know what I mean? You got who are still touring to this very day off their hits over in the 90s. You know, you got reggae artists that can still go around, even going back to my time, bro. You got General Levi.
Maybe don't forget. Imagine they still touring. Real thing is still touring. There's several of those groups, En Vogue, and all of them. You know,
still go around, still doing their stuff. You know, even General Levi. Let's make it into hip hop. General Levi,
right, yeah.
After one song. The one tune, the man now work again. You know what I mean? The one tune, you know, bro. You make one hit, so let alone 26 hits. What happened there? Jeez, incredible. But listen, let's go back to let's go back to, you know what I mean? Obviously, we touched on a bit L.A. Reid. I switched on to his thing and whatever. But let's go back to the origins, bro. And we talked about Teddy Pendergrass and whatever. Now you got these guys now functioning in the 80s, going from the 70s into the 80s, yeah. And as you can see, Teddy Pendergrass, guys, yeah, he was doing so well. Yeah, that he could actually say, "Man, I don't want you in this room. I'm just gonna do a ladies' concert." And the man go, "Hold on, what what happened to the rest of us?" You know what I mean? And getting vexed outside. Now, so we've got, so Gamble and Huff has come from the 60s, yeah, 60s music, being part of major hits, working with major artists like Elvis Presley and all these guys, yeah, and then worked their way through, set the system in place, got an external investment in. You know what I'm saying? And obviously built up their offices, built up things, and then still made hit after hit. That work rate, they're delivering 10 tracks a day. They worked in with a bigger band scenario. It shows that you have to continue to expand. Our biggest scary thing is expanding our businesses, because the reality show is, it's scary for me. How'd I be? But the only way to do a bigger thing in your head is to have the people around you. And these guys went hard, go hard. When they had the finances coming, they expanded their businesses and they produced way more, and the absolute hits. And you had people coming over. So now I've heard of the 3 degrees, but
yes.
I would have heard more about the now Diana Ross was part of a group. I'm gonna show my ignorance here. What was the name of the group?
She was part of the Supremes.
So Supremes and 3 degrees. Which was the bigger group?
Well, if we look at the success of the Supremes, remember Supremes is the only female group in history which had 12 Hot 100 number ones on the pop charts, and that record has not been broken yet. It's still standing half a century after the fact. It has not. There's no female group that's able to match that.
Not even Spice Girls.
Spice Girls can't match it. No, Spice Girls is no. Remember, as I said, the 3 Degrees is the only female group in history to have 12 pop number ones on the Hot 100 Billboard. And it's not being matched.
Sorry, is that Supremes or 3 Degrees?
The Supremes.
Yeah.
The Supremes.
Yeah,
I was just comparing them.
But
in terms of the 3 Degrees, this is where it's different. The 3 Degrees is one of the first black female groups to have consecutive gold album and gold singles.
Wow.
In the UK, you see, When Will I See You Again, which came out in 1974. It was number 1 for 4 weeks on the UK official pop UK charts, right? The single Oh, matter of fact, it sold 1 million copies actually. When Will I See You Again in the UK,
Wow.
and it sold 1 million copies in Japan and so on, and number one in Japan and so forth. So it was number one in several territories, and on top of that, the album 3 Degrees was sold. It was a gold certified, and Take Good Care of You, the second album, was also gold certified. So they did consecutive. So they, in terms of creative exports from Philadelphia, they were the most successful female group.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also, When Will I See You Again sold 2 million copies in the US as well.
Wow.
The single.
That's mad. Bro, that's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I have to salute you on this information that you got there stored up, bro, because like this is empowering, guys. And I think that, you know, I'm not a secular expert when it comes to music because my focal point is gospel. But what I am is, if I'm going to study music business, I got to realize that, hold on a second, let me have a look at, everyone looks at Elvis Presley's success when he taught music. We're not taught from a black music perspective. Now it's time to be educated otherwise. Do check out our playlist, because I'm putting together a playlist all about the Black issue. My conversations with Kevin is going to be stored up there, so anybody wants to hear about anything, have it in the background. Our conversation is there, and pick out some bits and bobs. It's encouraging to find out what our people did, and you can say, where the money there? But the thing is, it's good to see, you know, when we talk about successful businesses in America, you seem to have more business people in America. Yes, we see the American footballers, but you do see a lot of business people. This is the offshoot, the next generation of having successful black people, that they can invest into businesses and restaurants and this and that, and people can actually live with generational wealth. I'm afraid that we need to get in the mode of, let's make it so we can pass on to the next generation for them to be more freer and be able to make the right moves. And it's important for us to put that on there. I'm not only smash it out there, but it's important for us to recognize as well that Gamble and Huff was involved with political activism in a period where black people were sent to Vietnam for a war that they didn't even want to get involved with. Yeah, so they get sent against Marxism. You know what I mean? As I could say, for capitalism, that but actually put them in America, for, you know what I mean, for slavery. So at the end of the day, so yeah, they're like this. Muhammad Ali's like this. I ain't fighting. You know what I'm saying? You got Malcolm X getting shot off. You got Martin Luther getting shot up. You know what I mean? We're getting all our great people. Black Panthers are being marginalized. You can't even raise the fist as an athlete. You know, there's so many things. You go there, they love you, but you know that they hate you. You know what I'm saying? So that pressure of that and seeing that success, I have to salute these guys for standing up and doing what they have to do, bro. I have to be honest with you. So Gamble and Huff, bro, what did they as they come into the 80s now, bro, did they sit down and start to oversee something? Because guys, I'm setting up the scene, you know, because Gamble and Huff is now not coming to a close. It's getting to the stage now where they're hits. I keep hitting. And so, what's the next expansion, the next generation? So, I've heard of Teddy Pendergrass, yeah, and I would say he was starting to move into the next generation, yeah. Now, which of the artists, bro, would you say really Gamble and Huff moved into the next generation with?
Well, the next generation of artists were after Teddy Pendergrass peaked. You know, he had the accident, unfortunately, and that sort of curtailed his explosion because he was expanding he was getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. He would have been big, like similar to somewhat like Prince and so on. He was moving in that sort of domain.
Yeah. I thought that vibe, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The thing is that the last female artist the last artist to have a gold certification for the label before things cut, when it sort of wind down, so to speak, was Patti LaBelle with I'm in Love Again, the gold album, plus with the single If Only You Knew, which was written by Dexter Wansel and Cynthia Biggs with Kenneth Gamble. Okay, that was the last number one single on the CBS distribution, and the last gold album, I'm in Love Again. Then afterwards, once they ceased operation with because what had actually happened, because Teddy Pendergrass was the highest earning artist. Apparently, once the accident came around, it reduced the earning. So they kept them mysteriously. Gamble and Huff kept going, and then they signed another distribution arrangement with Capitol Manhattan.
Okay.
And out of that arrangement, they had a number one single with Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls. Shirley Jones with Can You Get Enough Love, which was 2 weeks, number one for 2 weeks. Almost sold 1 million copies. It sold about 800,000 copies, the single. And the last number one for Philly International during the 80s was the OJ's Loving You, 1987.
So the Jones Girls, yeah, because I'm seeing these Jones Girls, yeah, but the look of them seems to be a how can I say it? It seems like it's the start of a new era in R&B. They look like almost like the prelude of SWV, the prelude of the next generation singers. Would you say that?
Yes. For like for Xtra and all these different,
Yeah, man.
They were the prelude look. Because their vocal standard was what these other groups sort of build off, like En Vogue, because these women, the Jones Girls, were the backup singers for Diana Ross, and Diana Ross is a very particular woman when it comes to the right group, because they introduce the Jones Girls to Gamble and Huff. Gamble and Son. Yeah, they came to Gamble and Huff. Gamble and Huff came to a Diana Ross concert when she was in Philly, and she was talking with them and encouraged the Jones Girls to get a contract with Philly International. And once they get the contract, they had their first million seller with them right off the bat, called the million seller. Oh yes.
Yeah, man. Because I'm looking at the look. The look is very getting ready for the En Vogue era, and that's kind of crazy.
Yes.
So
They're very well polished women. They're very well refined women.
Yeah.
They're very, very sophisticated women. They're beautiful, very intelligent. And the thing about it, unfortunately, 2 of them are dead now. Only Shirley's the only one still alive to keep the tradition. Yeah. One died, got killed on the road, and the other one died in some sort of sickness. Yeah. So it's pretty sad, but their mother, they're from Detroit originally.
Okay.
And their mother is a gospel artist as well, and an evangelist. Their mother.
You're joking.
Yes, and they were also signed to Curtis Mayfield label at one time as well, way back when.
So the Church Girls,
and they were also So they've been going for a while, but it was really until when they went to Philly International Records that their career exploded. Yeah.
No way.
And also the same thing with Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle didn't have any level of success until she went to Philly International as a solo artist, and she exploded. And from that, she went into stardom, so to speak.
but it's amazing when you say about backup singers. Yeah, I'm just checking out some of the stuff here. They worked with Diana Ross, as you said there, yeah, and were backup singers for Linda Clifford. And it also says
that's right. Yes,
they performed as well with Lou Walls, Teddy Pendergrass, Aretha Franklin. You know what I mean?
That's correct. That's correct.
So they have a lot of pedigree there, and I have to say
that's correct. That's correct.
This is crazy.
That's correct.
They're just a bit older than my parents, and I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow. Absolutely wow, crazy. Straight from church, man, and just doing.
Yeah, yes. These women were from church, but they were very sophisticated women, very sophisticated women, and they were the best of the best.
Definitely,
Luther Vandross read them. Yeah, Luther Vandross would say to where somebody was saying that when Luther Vandross is doing vocal arrangements and so on, he would say to people, sing like the Jones Girls. Get you to sing like the Jones Girls. That is a standard. That is a standard.
Nah.
All you need to do is just listen. Yeah, just listen to their stuff, and then you hear the vocals.
Nah, it's definitely crazy. No, definitely. So, bro, I'm gonna come to a close here, yeah, because we're coming to the end of an era. Gamble and Huff, and I have to say that I am truly amazed and honoured by their contribution towards black music and contribution to the world of music. And one thing I have learned from Gamble and Huff is everything I've worked from so far in history is success doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy, and you have to work hard, people, hard. Yeah, so bro, I just want to again thank you for the information that you kind of give us across there, yeah. And I want to definitely salute this, and I'm shocked. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at the evolution of things that happened before I even was around, and it's just absolutely incredible that was what was going on, and we have to celebrate it, and we need to learn from it to develop and to be intentional and come with a message, even if you feel that message, as long as it come with truth. Bring across. Don't have messageless music. Messageless music don't last long. Music with message lasts generations. Yeah, and we can always regurgitate it back up, because there's songs we still re-singing some of the songs made in them times to do with issues today. That's crazy thing about it. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. But listen, bro, I'm gonna love and leave you. What note do you want to leave us on, bro? You're gonna give us a note of the prelude of what's gonna happen next in Philadelphia. Give us a taster. Okay.
Well, yes. Well. The thing is that I'm going to do a quick summary of some of the other hit makers that were involved in Philly, like Bobby Stagler, Bobby Martin, and Matt Fadden and Whitehead and so on. A few of those people, and then afterwards we're going to go into the 90s.
All right.
When we go into the 90s, we're going to talk about Gerald Levert, the new Kids on the Block, and and the other kids, the other new set of musicians that came out of Philly.
Okay, from the UK. But anyway, that's me just teasing everyone out there, yeah. But bro, I appreciate the time and effort that we have, and you know me, and I love the conversation that I've here, man, 100%. But listen, it seems like everybody else is enjoying the conversation. But listen, thanks again, bro. Anything else, guys? Listen, make sure you like, subscribe, keep coming back to Affinity Xtra station, because we are plugging black music and the success of black music in the past, and we're here to break this down because it's important for our future to know what happened in the past. Okay. Also, remind people that this month is Black Music Month in the US. Black Music Month. Oh, yeah, Black Music History Month. We're coming right in. Yeah, man, it's in June, people. So I will mention it to my colleague as well, Michelle, because we want to celebrate black music. Oh my goodness sake, we need to do some celebrations of black music here in June. And we don't worry about it. It's in America. Black music is America, UK, same thing, man. But listen, brother, you take care. Kevin Tomlin, the historian.
You too.
Yep. All right, guys. Bless you all.
Peace and love. Peace and love, brother.
Over and out,
Peace
man.
and love.
Blessings.
Over and out. Blessings, yes.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.